Dan, welcome to the Granite Zero podcast. Thank you for giving me your time. We eventually got here.
No worries. It's a pleasure. I'm looking forward to speaking with you, and let's do it.
Let's get it done. Yeah, it's been a while chatting with you, trying to get you on, but obviously during the sort of end of October, November, that's sort of your busiest time, isn't it? With all your
November is, with what I do with the charity British Legion and that, with the poppy appeal, it's flat out all month from sort of end of October, all through November. But yeah, I've got quite a quiet patch now, so I can get some done and talk to people in there.
That's always the way, isn't it? You're always like flat out for certain points and periods of time, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh,
yeah.
Now what? Now
it's
what?
Enough all at once, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So what I want to do is, to start with, I just want to go way back in time. What sort of guided you to join the army in the first place?
Well, to be honest, I think from the age of 14, I was still at school, and my dad was always a military sort of background person. He never was in the military, but he collected like action men, soldiers, and stuff.
Oh, got you. Yeah.
I think I just sort of grew into it as well, and I was like, oh, do you know what? I want to do that, or do something within the armed forces. And so when I left school, pretty much 16, I went straight into the careers office and said, look, I want to be an infantryman. Well, guide me. And I ended up joining the Grenadier Guards from 16 years old.
Fucking hell. You're not like the first person I've had on here that's joined up that early. Like 16 is mad when you think about it.
It's young. I mean, your actual service doesn't start until you're 18. So you actually...
Well, yeah. That's what they say, in it. You have a couple of years for the Queen, don't you?
Yeah. But it was worth it. I went to the Army Foundation College in Harrogate. I did my, numerous of like key skills, computer skills, not just soldiering, but you do basically like another education course just to boost your sort of, when you get ready to go into the army at 18, it gives you a bit of a head start with promotion and going up the ranks. But you do your basic training, you're getting paid for it, and then you join up when you're 18. So that's when your service starts. And then I went on to do 8 years. Then
that's fair enough. To be fair, I've always said any sort of fucking term of service is, you still signed up, you still did your little bit. Like I did 5.5 years, and the rotation that we had during my time with, especially with, I know we get a lot of shit, but especially with the RAF regiment, because we're so short, or not short, I'm short, because the unit is quite a small unit, and because of the job role that we did, it was basically a constant turnaround of going on tour, home, you have a couple of weeks, pre-deployment, on tour. In 5.5 years, I did 3 tours, and I was like, fucking hell. Like, this is madness.
Just like a flash.
Yeah, definitely. So here's a question, because obviously you're a guardsman. You obviously drill being your forte. Did you like a bit of fucking marchy?
I didn't mind it, to be honest. You do it. You have to do it for the first 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
In any guard regiment. So you do your ceremonial duties around London. So you're doing your Buckingham Palaces, your Windsor Castles. You do your 2 years of that, and then you actually go on to join your battalion, which is operational. So for me, I was straight into Afghanistan 2007 from being in Nijmegen Company, which is Grenadier Guards. I literally went from ceremonial straight into military operational, roles. It was completely different.
Yeah, I bet it was.
18 years old as well. It's all fresh, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I'd go back in and do it again. And luckily, I was discharged medically due to my hearing problems, hearing loss.
Yeah,
I've been out 11 years now.
Yeah, to be fair, I've been out. Well, I came out 2013, and that like even looking back through a few photos on Instagram and Facebook, all the memories come flooding straight back. You're like, fucking, I'd love to go back out there. Like,
it was easy times then, weren't it? Hard times.
Oh yeah. It's like I've said quite a few times. Amongst all the chaos, I've never been so peaceful. Like barely on my phone unless we got back to camp. You could send an email or make a phone call or whatever. But when you're out on the ground for a couple of days at a time, if not a bit longer, you know, you don't have the luxuries of that. You just fucking crack on and just be chilled. Listen to the radio, listen to your fucking music or whatever.
You know what you're doing. Yeah, you know what you're doing. You're getting paid to listen. You just do your job.
Yeah.
You got your roof over your head. All your bills are covered. So it was easy time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
definitely. But it's fucking mad when you think about it. Like the lads that are now joining up don't really understand like the rotation of getting ready to go on tour, because obviously they're not really in that at the minute. I'm guessing there's still people dotted about in certain places that can't talk about that sort of stuff. But you know, for us, it was like you've passed basic training, stand by, you're getting ready to go. Apart from yourself, because you were just a mere boy when you joined. But
what year did you join? Was you
2008? I joined.
So yeah, just after. Yeah, so we all pretty much joined at the times when the Afghan wars were in full swing, weren't we? You know, so
Yeah,
we knew where we was going, and we was going to go there more than once. You know, if you obviously come back and did it again.
yeah, exactly. And I was quite lucky that my squadron was the squadron that closed down Iraq. So I got a bit of a Bakshi fucking Iraq medal for that. Where, if I'm honest, I did shit my pants, and the first fucking rocket attack came in. I can't deny that I didn't, but I'm sure most people did when the first one came in. But
yeah, I think everyone did. It's natural to feel.
But after that, it was like a fucking lad's holiday. It was, yes, we went out on patrol, and yes, there was a threat there, but you know,
it became the norm, didn't it? You know, after the first one, each day was you knew what was going to expect, whether it was bullets, missiles, IEDs. It's getting in that mindset, and you got to deal with it.
It's strange. It's strange though, because you talk to a civvy, and like I've said it to my missus a few times, even when I was going through my sort of therapy stage. She was like, "You talk about it as though it's normal to have rockets and to be checking for IEDs." And I was like, "But it was for us."
Yeah.
Like, yes, every day we'd go out with that heightened sense of awareness, which is probably why predominantly most people come back with some sort of stress disorder, whether it is post-traumatic or not, but there'll be some sort of stress disorder, because you're constantly switched on. You can't switch off. As soon as you switch off, something happens.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think everyone suffers in some way. That went obviously.
Yeah. We're not normal, as I've always said.
In that operational environment, you experience trauma no matter where you go. So it's going to be stuck in your minds, even when you come back.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think I'm a big believer with the PTSD sort of stuff. I think everyone has it, but it's just whether it gets triggered and over which time it gets triggered.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think you're right. And for me, my trigger was when I left and I lost all my mates, basically.
Yeah.
And then it was the depression then sort of sat in. And when depression sat in, it was like, guess what I've got for you? Enjoy this one. It's like, oh, cheers for that. But you know, I found going on the little white tablets was beneficial for the first couple of months, but then I was numb, and it was horrible. So it was, what can I do to improve myself without being reliant on little tablets? And you know, you'll probably agree to this majorly, and that was fizz, basically.
Yeah, exercise is the key thing. Being outdoors as well. I think it's a massive. Walking, biking, running. I mean, I run. I haven't done for a few weeks, but
we'll get on to your running in a minute, you madhead.
That's my sort of therapy for myself, and it helps me.
Yeah.
Whether it's just a 5-minute walk or a 40-minute run, but yeah, it's a massive key, and a lot of people taking it up, who I know on through social media, and it helps them.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's that old saying, isn't it? Fucking healthy body, healthy mind. And I agree. Like that, my depression was at its lowest when I was properly thrashing myself in the gym, or when I had a goal to get to. Like I did a charity boxing match, You know, I did a
Yeah.
Spartan race, organising the football match. I'm doing another one, but having a goal helps me. Like because I'm a fat lazy bastard most of the time. If someone goes, "You fancy going for a run?" I'm like, "Fuck off! I ain't go for a run." Do you fancy going to the gym? Well, I could, but you know, I'm one of those people that needs that sort of end goal. You know, and unfortunately, in my own twisted little head, it's not just to make sure that my depression doesn't fucking flare up or anything like that. That
Yeah.
should be my goal, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still that same person that will go, "Oh, I'll just mong out on the sofa and play FIFA for a bit longer." You know what I mean?
It's easy done, though, isn't it? You know, it's
Oh
easy to
yeah,
fall that
yeah.
sort of.
Comforts, mate. It's
Yeah.
comfort.
But it's having the motivation and the discipline to do it, and you're always going to feel better afterwards as well.
Oh, definitely. Which sort of like eases into the big thing. Obviously, so you ran, was it 156?
I haven't even done it yet because
Oh,
of
it's not been
COVID.
done yet. Ah, fucking hell! I thought you'd done it, but still,
No,
that's still a mad thing, though.
I'm on the next March 23. Yeah,
So next
so
year.
March 23. Well, I missed out this year because of I think there's some sort of norovirus in the.
Oh, right, got you. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think they go ahead, but a lot of people sort of
yeah.
pulled out.
Pulled
Um,
out,
but
sickness
then
and diarrhea.
yeah, then the lockdown and COVID,
Fucking hell.
three of them.
But still.
Yeah,
So when were you supposed to do it?
March 2020.
So like almost.
2
So it'll
years.
be 3 years worth of training for this
Yeah,
event.
yeah.
But
But
that's
of the training, I haven't really. This year, I haven't done
how,
much training.
I was going to say how do you sort of acclimatize to that sort of training? Because obviously there's running marathons,
Yeah, I
there's
mean,
running, and then there's the running in the Sahara Desert.
yeah, we did have to, I did before COVID happened and lockdown. So I did go to Portugal
Yeah,
on the Algarve. I did some training there for 4 days just to get the sort of feel of the terrain and the
yeah,
heat. And then come March, well February, weren't I think the
yeah,
first,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then it was like so my training was on hold, and then we thought it was going to be picked back up sort of September that year, but we're still in lockdown, still in COVID. And then it postponed again. So it's just been from there really. And I think March 23, I'm on the list. I presume
Oh,
I am
that's good.
anyway.
That's good. Well, you like to think so. If you've had to wait that long,
Well, I had a charity space, so I was doing it for the Royal British Legion.
yeah.
I've raised all the funds and the awareness and that support. So my charity place remains for 3 years, I believe. So
I got you.
I'll be
I got you. Yeah, yeah. Well, it'll be just on the 3 year point, won't it?
yeah.
So yeah,
So, but I'll start my training again from January onwards. Get 3 months in. But I was doing ultra marathons. I was doing something every weekend of a long run.
yeah, yeah. So
So yeah,
when you say a long run, now like 5 miles is a long run for me.
I'm nowhere near that now. It takes a lot of training to get there. But I was peaking about a year and a half ago. Probably a half marathon. I'd be doing 2-3 times. Well, I'd say twice a week, and then I'd be doing a marathon on a weekend. And
As
then
you do, as you do.
it becomes normal, you think, because
Yeah,
you're
of
getting
course.
carried.
I guess it does. I guess it sort of becomes the norm, doesn't it?
Yeah, you're getting fitter and fitter. Your body feels good. You feel good. So you
Yeah.
go further. But yeah, I've done ultra marathons, Snowdonia, Peak District and stuff. But at the minute, I haven't done much. So it's going to be a shock.
So
It's going to be a shock when I go back into it.
this isn't your first sort of big event then for RBL.
No, I've done a few over the sort of,
Yeah.
what, 5 years.
Is the Legion always been sort of your charity of choice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they helped me out when I was discharged from the army. They helped me out. So it's only sort of fair to
I
try
agree.
and
Yeah.
return the favour, if I put it like that, and raise awareness funds and get. They do a lot of work each year, so especially with the veterans.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realise sort of the work that they do, because obviously you've got some larger military charities are all
Yeah,
about the profits that
yeah,
they get and their CEOs and whatnot. And
yeah.
you know,
I've come across this sort of area, especially last year. Like the Legion was sitting on a lot of profits and stuff. Not
yeah,
really what they should, but it is nonsense. They do. I think they even sort of help the tiny charities out as well.
Yeah.
Them support from what I'm hearing, and yeah, they'll always be there. And if you need the help, they're on the end of the phone.
Yeah, exactly. I had a few run-ins with a couple of charities when I was starting up the podcast, and I was like, look, this is basically my therapy. I can also potentially help others by having them on, chatting and things like that.
Yeah,
I was like, any chance of a little bit of support, whether it's a bit of a sponsorship for the podcast or you guys come in, see what I'm doing, see how it's helped me, like etc. etc. And then I basically got told, I will send you a caseworker, and that was about 4 years ago now. I'm still waiting. I won't name them. I won't name and shame, but one of them, bearing in mind, so I'll give a clue. So one of them, bearing in mind I am in the Air Force, was an Air Force charity.
Yeah.
And
I think I know.
I've had dealings with them before, not through myself, through my uncle who passed away a fair few years ago, but they helped out amazingly. So I'm like sort of torn. I'm like, you fucked me over, but yeah, you've helped my. It's like fuck's sake, but it's crazy though, because you can't knock it, because they're putting a lot of work in. And I can guarantee they haven't got the number of staff that most people think that they've got and things like that. And especially with veterans are we're everywhere.
Yeah. Not just us. You got the older ones as well. You know, they're still hanging around.
Yeah, there's still a few hanging around. Yeah,
Still
exactly.
they still need the sport. Whether it's in like care homes, you've got the Chelsea pensioners. They get help through the Legion as well. Yeah,
I love the pensioners.
Yeah, they're great.
They're brilliant.
Yeah.
Here's one for you then. So, how was the Festival of Remembrance? Because obviously you do you go every year, or is it just last year?
I've been going the last 5 or 6 years, just to sort of watch. But yeah, I was invited along this year to be part of the Queen's tribute.
Oh yeah, I did see you on the telly. I was like, oh,
it was quite
there's a guest.
It was an honour to be on there. You know, it's not something you're going to do. Well, I'm not going to do it again, but to be in that sort of environment at the time, you got the royal family watching you, packed out. I don't know if you ever been to the Royal Albert Hall.
I haven't. No, I haven't.
You go inside; it's an amazing place just to look at. Just look at the sea. It's like wow, you know. But yeah, it was an honour to be part of that, and I don't think I'll be on it again. But I'll watch every year.
Yeah. I definitely. Well, I always watch it. I always find sort of November time, especially around Remembrance. That's as morbid as it sounds. It's my favourite time of year.
Yeah,
it's that time of year where I can feel my most proud again. Like the medals come out, they get polished up nice. I go up and meet my old man. Like this year, we went out in Hereford, and I'm from Hereford, but I went out in Hereford for the first time for Remembrance.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, the amount of fucking chests I saw. I was like, what the fuck? I must have counted 5 military crosses. I swear down.
Yeah.
I was like, there's a lot of Sandy Berets about, put it that way.
I've noticed as well, I think more veterans are sort of becoming more part of things like this.
Yeah. I think you're right.
The march past in London and stuff, they want to be involved more now than they did probably 10 years ago.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of pride that I've seen. Definitely. And you know, that's one of the big things that I think a lot of veterans lose, is that sense of belonging, that pride that they once had.
Yeah.
And they get to do it.
Yeah, and it's coming together, and if you can meet up with some old pals you serve with, you know, I usually do every year. Meet up with familiar faces and stuff. It's good, you know, you can keep in touch. There's always some that you lose, you know, in touch with. There's a few lads I don't speak to now, which I was very close to, you know, Afghanistan. Yeah. But yeah, you just get the ones that don't want to be involved, and they rather just forget about it, and that's probably their own way to sort of cope, I suppose, you know.
Yeah. So it is a sort of a question now, because obviously you're now incident free, as you said.
Yes.
Before we hit record. So how did you first discover that you had diabetes?
I collapsed at work.
It just collapsed. Bosh.
Yeah, so I didn't really know much about diabetes.
Mm.
I mean, there's
If I'm
obviously no.
honest, I did sport science at school, but they sort of semi-taught it. But I know it's down to a lack of.
There's two types. So you got to remember there's the unlucky type, I call it, which is type 1. You
Yeah.
can get that any age. You don't have to be, you know, people think, oh, you're overweight, you got sugar. You don't. It's a type 1's an autoimmune disease. You know, you're just unlucky to get it, and you have to inject insulin for the rest of your life, you know,
Yeah.
to live. Type 2, you know, the only way I can put it is self-inflicted. That's the one where you have
Got you.
bad diet,
Yeah.
do eat junk, and you normally get it sort of 30 upwards, you know, into your 40s. And you normally manage that with tablets, but you can manage it with insulin injections, depending, you know, how severe it is. But yeah, I had all the symptoms of type 1. I was, you know, blurry vision, tiredness, fatigue. I was urinating a lot, which I didn't even have a clue at the time. I just thought, you know, I've just come out of the forces. Maybe I'm just experienced of, you know, nausea and stuff. But no, I had type 1. I was in hospital for a week on a drip.
Jesus Christ.
The next 7 years, I was injecting 4 times a day. Yeah.
Wow. Did you have to wear one of those little patch things that I've seen them dotted about nowadays? Or is that a new thing?
It's only come in sort of the last few years. So people have the patches on their arms now, which sort of read their blood sugar, and it can be connected to your phone, and you can check it on your phone and stuff. But when I was checking my sugar, I had to prick my finger, which I don't think they do now, unless you want it. Like I said, it's on your arm.
Does that fucking kill the feeling in your fucking finger after a while?
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. But luckily now they've progressed the technology. You don't have to do that. You can just do it all on an arm and on your phone, and you can just look at your phone and read your blood sugar reading. Yeah.
Fucking fair play. I'm not the biggest fan of needles, so I couldn't even think like, oh, I've got to stab myself with a fucking needle every day.
But get that, you got no choice, you know. You got
yeah, obviously.
But there is new things happening. You know, there's breakthroughs happening, and medical is getting better. So I think they're coming up with stuff which won't cure it, but will manage it better. You know, probably without injections. I'm thinking more of a maybe like a pill or a implant in the arm, which will release, you know, insulin and stuff.
Yeah, there's got to be something. There's got to be something better than sticking yourself in your ass.
Yeah,
with a needle day in and day out. But yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? How the body sort of works and in turn fixes itself.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened for me, you know. So back in 2016, so this was 6 years ago. The opposite happened to me. So I was actually getting hype. You know what hypo is?
Yeah.
Your blood sugar drops. So that was happening to me over a course of 3 or 4 weeks, too frequently. And I was waking up in the night, sweating and needing sugar, which is dangerous. You know, I could have gone into coma at one point.
Fuck.
So for me, yeah, I was told over a course of a few months, I was told to reduce my insulin. And then over another 6 months, I think by the 8th month point, I was completely off it. Didn't need any. And they were baffled. So that's when I was sent to the States for different tests, different research. And then, yeah, it's still ongoing. They don't know why.
They just don't know.
I don't know. I keep getting...
That's mad.
I get theories, and like, you know, people say, oh, doctors saying, oh, well, you could have been misdiagnosed, or you could have had the other type. But when I was injecting for 4 times a day, 7 years, I don't think that's the case. I think it's just,
yeah.
I believe I believe it's just sort of recharge itself, and it's producing insulin again, and it's just taken over the course of a few years to come back to where it should be.
Yeah, it's as though it's sort of fixed itself.
Yeah, that's what I put it down to. I mean, it might not be, but I think that's my belief.
Your patient zero, they're going to start fucking ripping you apart, and
they need someone else. So
yeah, they're going to start taking bits of you, and then they're going to go, right, we've now got the cure for fucking type 1. Second patient zero.
There could be more out there, but you know, I don't know any that's recorded at the minute. I know people have tried and lasted a couple of months maybe, but not like, you know, completely.
Not like you, yeah. That's mad. It is mad when you think about it. You're like, oh, hang on, I'm the only one. You're a fucking Highlander. There can only be one.
But, I mean, I've done like videos and stuff like this in the past about it, and you're always going to get positive and negative, you know, comments and answers for it, but they don't know. But at the end of the day, still, scientists don't know, doctors don't know, and all these conspiracies, you know, they put their own, you know, what they think anyway. But it's still ongoing. I still have tests every sort of 6-8 months, and it's, you know, it's normal.
How can anyone be negative about that?
I think it's down to the medicine.
Well, people obviously always do. We'll always find something negative to find about it.
Always get people, you get people think, oh well, you must have done something. You must have not had it, and it's I think it's down to like the medicine world. So like, you know, the instant where it's produced, maybe one day they won't need it. It might be a cure, but people don't need as much as they do, you know. But I don't know, you know, just ignore them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you even get haters on fucking comic books, don't you? It's like, well, he's a fucking superhero, and then you see him slagging him off because they're superheroes. Yeah. It's like, fucking hell.
I get a lot of remarks on Instagram, you know, with a book which is coming out soon. It was tough going to do that, and I was in two minds whether to do it, you know, because of the, you know, the feedback I might get. But I'll just put it out there in my sort of words and how my journey began and ended, and
I know exactly how you feel. So
you just have to ignore them. Yeah,
I released my book, and I had people telling me that I was making up stories that they fucking happened. Like, and if I was going to make it up, I would have made it sound a lot cooler than it was. Put it that way. Yeah. I had people saying that I was making up stories that weren't even on that tour. I had people saying I was making up stories that weren't even on that patrol that I was on, etc., etc. And I was like, at first, it got me a little bit down. I'm not gonna lie, but then I was like, oh fuck it, I've done it now.
But you're always gonna get it, no matter what. Whether it's a book, a film, you know, just a little diary or something. When you share it, people have their own opinions, but you have to do it for yourself and try and give hope to other people, and that's what I've tried to do. My aim.
That's good. So your book, is that like a biography, or is it about the sort of?
It's about my story. What happened from when I left the army, from that point onwards, getting diabetes, from doing my marathons, running, from coming off insulin, and so like I said, there's stuff in there which I can't mention till the book's released, and that's why
that's fine. That's fine.
A bit delayed at the minute because of issues like that, but it'll be worth the wait when it comes out.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I know exactly how you're feeling. The sort of nerves are releasing it. I had a mixture of like excited and also like, oh fucking hell, what have I done here? Because like my book was basically, it touched a little bit on the military stuff, but it was mainly about the journey afterwards and how I got diagnosed with different mental health issues and things like that, and how I've battled my way through. And it's funny that I find it funny now that that's what the book is about. It's about my journey through mental health issues, but yet still people tried to give me shit saying that I was making it up, like my fucking issues. I was like,
you're always gonna get it.
What?
Don't worry.
But yeah, I got to that point where I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Cheers for that.
Yeah. But no, you just have to just bypass it and, you know, do it for yourself. Get the message.
Definitely. Have you got any sort of idea of when the book's being released?
So it was supposed to be this Monday, but because of different issues which I'm dealing with now, yesterday was a big day. It's going to be another 2 weeks.
Another 2 weeks.
And it'll go into 2 stores and then online, which is
awesome.
And Smith's,
yeah.
And eventually it'll go on to Amazon as well. Eventually.
Oh, awesome! That's awesome. So you motherfuckers that are listening, you fucking get this book. Definitely get it. So we're going to do a big full turnaround now. So obviously you're a guardsman and you did your ceremonial duties. So
Yeah.
any fucking funny stories about the palaces that you worked on off the top
You
of
know
your head,
what? Let me try and think.
or are
I
they
was
fucking boring?
they're boring, but I used to do the Tower of London.
Yeah,
I did that a few times, and there's some stories there. And it is, I mean, I'm not a fan of like, I don't believe in ghosts and stuff like that. But
yeah.
when you sleep 2 nights, you do hear some stuff. And to be honest, I thought I saw some stuff as well.
Yeah.
And so the lads. But yeah, you've got to go. You've been there, have you?
I've been there. Yeah, I never went on to 63, so I never did any of the ceremonial stuff. But yeah, I've been around there. It's an eerie place, I
It
think.
is
Anyway,
at night time. If you're on your own, well, not on your own, but if it's quiet and you're with just a couple of lads, walk around. I mean, no, we did it on guard anyway, but yeah, you hear some stuff, and it makes you think. You know, I'm not believing that sort of stuff, but yeah,
yeah,
it did
I'm not.
change me.
There's a couple of security officers that work under me on my site. So my site used to be RAF Westmoreland back in World War II, and every morning when I come onto shift, they come up to me and they go, "The lights come on again in the control tower," and I'm like, "They're on a sensor, aren't they?" And they went, "Exactly. There's no one. There's no one in there." And I was like, "It's probably a spider or something." But they're like, "Nah, every night it comes on, same sort of time." And I went, "Well, if it's during a night shift," I went, "They were probably getting bombed at that point, so that's probably why it's come on." I was like, "Yeah, it's definitely haunted, fellas. Definitely haunted. Crazy bastards."
Yeah. But we had some good times as well, and like you probably did the battlefield tours. You did,
Yeah,
yeah. So like young lads, you go out drinking. We had some stories there. We went out a couple of times in Bruges in Belgium.
yeah.
Some of the beer there, obviously, it's stronger. You think Stella's strong or San Miguel, but
Yeah.
over there you're talking 7-8%. And yeah, a lot of us, we was on that. We all was pissed up. We was about 5 miles from the camp we're staying in,
Yeah.
so we couldn't get back. We're talking like midnight. We had to be back for the morning to do we had to do a parade in Bruges.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So if there's 4 of us, we robbed 4 bikes, push bikes. Pissed up. It was all pissed up going down this country road in the middle of bloody Belgium. Don't know how we got back.
Fucking got to be done. It's got to be done.
But we got back in one piece. Don't know how. I don't even remember cycling back. But we just woke up. There's 4 bikes outside our camp. That was our transport. Yeah.
Brilliant. It was either fucking nick a bike or tab back, wasn't it? So I know exactly what I'd do. I'm pretty sure we went out in Cambridge and nicked a load of bikes on a night out. Yeah, that's got to be done. Fucking hell.
Got to be done. I've got a story. There's a couple of stories, but I can't really remember the full details. But it's a good time in the forces,
Yeah.
Especially, I think when you're younger, like 18, 19, you got money. You're going to spend it. You're going to go out on the piss. You're going to blow it all in the future. It's what it's about.
The most functioning alcoholics ever. I think the quote is. It's fun.
Yeah,
it was a fucking great time. It was a great time.
The fittest alcoholics going, weren't
yeah, it was fucking brilliant. Like I remember, you'd just be monging it in your room or whatever, and you get a knock on the door, and it'd be like, "Fancy going out?" Yeah, go on in. It's a Wednesday, and you end up in a fucking nightclub singing karaoke or something. Definitely.
You go out with a tenner or a five, and you come back steaming with £2 on you. £2.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how I did this, but it was fucking brilliant.
So where was you based? The longest?
I was at RAF Honington, and I basically did all my time with the same squadron.
Yeah. You didn't really move around that much within.
So when we first got to 15, it had just been reformed from a rapier squadron, so that it was pretty much empty. So the majority of my training flight went to the same squadron instead of getting dotted about.
Yeah.
And then, well, we were supposed to do, according to whoever the bigwigs, you're supposed to do fucking 2.5 years and then get posted to another field squadron or go somewhere else. Yeah, that never happened. Like,
No.
no, you'd put in your preferences and you go, and your preferences are in, you're staying. Oh, thought so. Like, there was a
Yeah.
few like Scottish lads that wanted to go up to Lossiemouth, and there was a few other lads, northern lads, that wanted to go up to fucking Lincoln and things like that. And it was like, no, you're staying here. Brilliant.
One plane, yeah.
It's mad, it's mad. And then if you've got a decent skill like Mortarman or fucking machine gunners, and myself, I was a fucking comms nerd. Like, they definitely won't let you go then, because you've got a skill that they need. Like, I applied to go to 16 Air Assault TAC P to become a forward air controller. Yeah, that got squashed. And I was like, fucking hell, can I go to the wing and fucking join the fucking air signalers that they've got there and become part of the air group? No. Okay, brilliant. Like, every turn, it was no, that's not happening. At one point, I even went completely mad and was like, I'm going to go SFSG and then maybe fucking SF. And they were like, well, you got to volunteer for that. I went, yeah, I am. Well, you're not going. It's like, what? You can't stop me. and then I fell out of love with it, and my missus started having a few issues, and then it was time to hang up the boots.
Yeah, that's I would have stayed in. I would have done 22 at least. Well, that's the maximum you can do anyway. But 8 years I did, yeah. But I like to be involved now and do what I can and help.
From what I've seen, mate, you're doing fucking wonders. You're doing wonders.
Yeah, it's just returning the favour, and try and have that connection, with the lads and stuff. I'm down London a lot, most weeks, not every week, but every sort of 2 or 3. I do a bit down there with the Legion and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Well, Dan, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. The time is about to run out. I've just noticed, and it'll cut me off in a second, and I hate that. But mate, it's been an absolute privilege to have you on. We'll have to get a part 2 in when the book's released. And
definitely, yeah, I'll keep posted anyway on social media.
Yeah. And there we go. Massive thank you to Dan Darkers for taking the time out of his day to chat to me on here. It's been great. It's been great. The response I've had from the last few episodes that I've had on the podcast has been breathtaking, really. It's been really positive and really makes me feel fucking that it's worthwhile. I've had a few moments, a few times where I've sort of felt, can't get the guests, I can't do this, I might quit. But I haven't, and I'm not going to. I'm enjoying it. I still enjoy it, and each guest has been brilliant. Just so you know, you can find Dan on Instagram at Dan_Darkers, and get all the information to come out on his book, and make sure you follow him, and make sure you follow, like, and subscribe this podcast. Yeah, you've been told, so just fucking get on and do it. Get amongst it. It's what we want to do. It's what we need. It's what we need. But coming up in the next few weeks, my troopies. Obviously, we've got a few more episodes yet to record before we close up for the Christmas festivities. But we've also got Guest of the Year coming up. The front runners the front runner at the moment is Big Dave Radband. Big Dave. He is storming it through with views, likes, listens, etc. So, check out, all the Granite Zero places where you can listen, hear, watch, and listen and watch and subscribe and share and love. Spread the love. Why not? But yeah, guys, thanks again for listening. And it's been a fantastic year again, full of brand new guests, full of old guests, and we're going to keep pushing. So cheers, fellas. Cheers, troopers. Cheers, dudes. I'll check you out soon. I'm Tommo, and I'm out. Hello. You're at the adverts, so don't turn off. Don't turn off, because I've got some good stuff for you. First up, I'm going to talk about our sponsors. Kent CBD is our first sponsor. Now, CBD oil, as you know, has tremendous benefits, especially within mental health and physical health. Personally, I use it to help with my anxiety and my depression, but not only that, I also use it to help with the aches and pains of life in my joints, especially my ankles and my knees. But yeah, without CBD oil, I would have still been on my antidepressant tablets, which I'm no longer on. So, every cloud. And what we're going to do here at Granite Zero is we're going to give you 10% off everything from oil, muscle rub, jellies, bath salts, the lot. Yeah? Make sure you get in there. www.kentcbd.org. Put in the promo code GRANITE0 and get yourself 10% off. You are welcome. But also, if you're like me and you love a nice cup of coffee. Now, for me, I only drink one coffee, and that's Green Beret coffee. Now, I don't only drink it because it's out of this world fucking coffee, roast to order, grinded to whatever specific grind you want. But not only that, it's veteran owned and veteran run, which, hits me right in the feels. So make sure you check it out, Green Beret coffee. Get yourself a nice cup of coffee. I drink it dark, just like my soul. Incredible stuff, incredible stuff. And what I'm going to give for you, I'm going to give you 10% off. So once you get to the checkout, once you've got all your coffee, your products, your apparel, whatever you need, get to the checkout and put in the promo code GZPODCAST10 and get yourself 10% off. Courtesy of the Granite Zero podcast. You are welcome. Now, that's enough of me talking about this stuff. Back to the regular scheduled show. Check it out!